Hello, my name is Paola Moctezuma Flores, and I will be presenting a case study on the Portman Hotel Company and my employee adjustment proposal for the case study. So the problem was with personal valets, so a specific group of employees. The first problem that I saw was that the concept was not multicultural. So the concept originated in Asia. And I understand the concept was trying to be integrated in the US, which is great. But something that wasn't considered was the cultural differences in the two countries, and also the cultural differences that there would be with employee expectations. And so instead of copying the same concept, some things should have been adjusted. The workload for the associates was great. So not only were they in charge of cleaning and doing whatever services a client needed, but it was also found that 80% of their time was spent cleaning, which is an issue when you're trying. The whole purpose of having a personal valet is to satisfy client needs. It doesn't allow enough time for that. The pay grade was also extremely low. I noticed that it was in one of the most expensive cities today, because it's important to note that the case study was in the 1980s, but today the city is the most expensive city in the United States. So $7.50 isn't enough to keep employees happy. And so the lack of organization. So there was no organization in how things needed to be implemented, especially with it being a new concept. So those were the four major issues that I saw in the case study. So my proposed solution, the first one is to organize the job position. So instead of it being personal valets, maybe the concept of having a certain amount of cleaners and a certain amount of personal assistants. Now, regardless of who does what when, that's completely up to the associates. I think that they should be involved in deciding how they're going to be separated, whether half of them are permanent cleaners, so they just focus on cleaning the rooms, and the other half are personal assistants, so they focus on client needs, which should drive client satisfaction because they're only focusing on what the client is requesting or whatever they need. The second concept that I did like from the 5-star proposal was that to keep the tip pool. I think that's fair, especially if we separate the two jobs. Now, as time goes on, there is sure to be a different reaction depending on, sometimes some cleaners might have more workload than personal assistants. So that's something to keep in mind, but having a tip pool for the time being is fair, especially since we're dividing workload. And then organizing a rewards program. So it's important to increase employee morale. The retention rate was ridiculous, to be quite frank, for the case study. So increasing employee morale is important. And one way we can do that and keep increasing motivation to do better and do your job 100% is to implement a rewards program. And in addition, implement a survey for employee feedback. So employees already feel stressed. They vented to management. They felt extremely stressed. They were very unhappy with their job. And we see that in the retention rates. So implementing maybe temporarily monthly employee feedback surveys to allow employees to have a voice could result in new ideas and concepts to alleviate workload and have a better work-life balance. Now, as things get better, we might have to decrease the survey maybe quarterly or twice a year, but it's important to take action right away. That's the biggest thing that a company lacks in, is not acting urgently, which is crucial to show that they care and also to fix the problem. And so the monetary costs. So the pay rate, unfortunately, with the budget, not much can change, to be frank. Although I do believe that they should be paid more, that could be adjusted. But honestly, in order for that to be adjusted, the pay for the room would need to go up. So that would make it a little more difficult to keep clients, especially with other competitors. The only thing that they do have is that they have personal assistants. And so you could try to implement that as a concept to increase pay and the way that the clients pay for their rooms. An investment will certainly have to be made in creating the survey and how it'll be implemented, especially if we use technology. And lastly, an investment in an employee rewards program um, is important, but it's needed to increase morale. So to keep your employees motivated and to have them want to keep their job and want to do better and increase client satisfaction, implementing a rewards program is important, especially during maybe the first 2 years of transition. Now, this isn't going to be quick, it's going to take time, but sometimes it takes money. You have to invest to have better results. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for listening. And that concludes my presentation.